Iran got nuclear weapons again. They ain't been saying that since 1990.
Atom bomb. Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
What was the point of your porno Operation Midnight Hammer? I thought they had no chance of making nukes for years to come.
That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
Obliterated is a very specific word to me. When I hear obliterated, I think ended. It was June, son. That's less than a year. And they back like cook crack, making nukes. And once again, I'm just saying, Midnight Hammer, yeah. You're going to have to go in there because they got nukes again. And guess what? You know what? I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. I don't give a fuck. They can have nukes. What? Israel got nukes? They not supposed to have them? They got over 200. Maybe if Iran got a nuke, they stop talking so fucking spicy. Well, you know, they going to nuke the U.S. I don't think so. I do not believe that the first nuke that they possibly make will be sent towards America to blow us up. I think it will be sent right down the street. And if so, well, guess what? They got the Golden Dome, right? All right, well, let's see how good that shit work. But I'm not going to have American troops go die in the Middle East with another motherfucking never-ending war. We not born yesterday. Trump, I remember how you used to be talking.
Obviously, it was a mistake. So George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
But so you still think he should be impeached?
I think it's my turn, isn't it?
You do whatever you want. You call it whatever you want. I want to tell you, they lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
What happened to that, Trump, son? Oh, yeah. I remember. Your boy got caught red-handed, got arrested, and next thing you know, he was like, hey, you was with me. And if I go down, this is. And next thing you know, either dead or back in Israel. And we know damn near everything we read in these files is true. Freak Boy Bill was like, no, he was lying in those emails. I didn't do nothing with those Russian girls. And now he's apologizing. He's like, okay, yes, I did. Yes, I was fucking the Russian girls. I did try to drug my wife so she wouldn't get no STD. I mean, what? What do you want me to do? It was an island. We got Pancake Head and all the other page shills talking about we need to go to war with Iran. This is the best for the United States. All y'all shut the fuck up and just go move to Israel, man. Get the fuck out of this country. Hey, with me, Cuckboy Vance. If Israel can have nukes, so can Iran. Or
Bombs within 3.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Rahakadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of every millstone. They're doing evil well. Peace and blessings be unto the elect. This is Brother Dawud Duff from the GMS Detroit Camp coming at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Rahakadash. And today I want to do a video. I'm going in on this short clip that you saw at the beginning of this lesson. Lord's will this video be edifying. Now you saw the opening clip, and pretty much you know, the war drums are continuing to be beat, all right? And, you know, America is doing what they do best, all right? They're pushing their propaganda to get the world to believe that there's, you know, these mysterious weapons of mass destruction or these nukes that these other nations are building in America, the self-proclaimed police of the whole earth. They have to be the ones to put an end to it. You know, this is Isaiah 13. But ultimately, this is the Heavenly Father drumming the drums of war. Isaiah 13 and verse, I'll start at 1. The burden of Babylon. This Babylon is America, all right? The word Babylon goes back to the Hebrew word Babal, which simply means confusion, all right? And this is the place of great confusion, all right? You have men wanting to be women, women wanting to be men. You have transformers, you have the alphabet community, you have confusion with the money system, all right? You're supposed to be getting paid in gold and silver, but they're giving you Federal Reserve notes that are pieces of paper that are not worth anything, all right? That's confusion. The whole money system in America is total confusion, and it's really a scam to prey upon the people. You know, it's total wickedness, you know? So the burden of Babylon. which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. The banner is the Bible, the scriptures, this word. All right. And the high mountain is America. Mountains in the scriptures represents governments. All right. So lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. What's that banner? The Bible. The high mountain is America. Exalt the voice onto them. When you exalt the voice onto somebody, you're cussing somebody out. Shake the hand. When you shake the hand at somebody, and as you exalt the voice onto them, you're telling them off. You're cussing them out. All right. That they may go into the gates of the nobles. The gate, yeah, it's going to get to the point where these elites, they're going to say, you know, we got to do something about these Israelites. All right. You know, certain of us are going to be brought forth before these different judges, these rulers. You know, who knows? The Lord may have it where before one of these Rothschilds, you know, condemning them and cussing their ass out. You know, I have commanded my sanctified ones. Who are the Heavenly Father's sanctified ones? The prophets, the men of the Lord. Let's precept that. Precept that. Let's precept that. This is Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5. And it reads, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Meaning what? He knew of him in the spirit realm. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. Who is the thee? Jeremiah. And what was Jeremiah's lot? Jeremiah was a prophet. All right. Hence why it says what? I have commanded my sanctified ones. Who are the Lord's sanctified ones? The prophets. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. Another word for sanctify is to be made holy. The word holy means to be separate. So the Heavenly Father has a certain amount of spirits that He separated to be very special spirits, all right, of the which will have the office of being His prophet. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. There you go. Isaiah 13:3, I have commanded my sanctified ones, which is whom? The prophets. I have also called my mighty ones. Who are the Heavenly Father's mighty ones? The holy angels. Like recently you had in the news, Donald Trump, he's talking about how he's releasing UFO files. Well, who really pilot those UFOs? The holy angels do. All right? So those are the Lord's mighty ones. Right? I have also called my mighty ones, even them that rejoice in my highness. Yeah. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts, meaning of armies, mustereth the hosts of the battle. So Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua is getting these troops ready. All right? He's pushing the tensions to arise. That way this war that He wants to see will pop off. All right? They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua, and the weapons of His indignation. The weapons of His indignation are those nukes, the missiles, which one missile carries multiple warheads, right? To destroy the whole land. That whole land is America, all right? So that's why you see these different tensions going on in the Middle East. You hear concerning America, talking about deploying troops over there in the Middle East. You see the tensions between America and Iran, America and Afghanistan, American and all these different, so-called Middle Eastern nations, which is no such thing as the Middle East. Geographically, that's an inaccurate term. But, yeah, that's why you see that going on over there, because the Heavenly Father is causing those tensions to stir up. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, Joel, chapter 2 and verse 20. But I will remove, who is the I? Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua. But I will remove far from you the northern army. This northern army is the American army, the military might. And will drive him, who is the him? The American army, into a land barren and desolate. They call that the so-called Middle East, all right? The Persian Gulf, that area. That's where these troops are amassing, all right? With his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, and his stink shall come up. His stink shall come up from all those dead bodies. This is going to be a massacre over there, And his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things, and this devil has done great wicked things. So the Heavenly Father is causing the armies to amass over there. All right, he's mustering the host of the battle. He wants this thing to pop off, because the Heavenly Father, pursuant to the book of Exodus 15 and verse 3, oh, the Lord, he love a good fight. Exodus 15 and 3, the Lord Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua is a man of war. Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua is his name. So look, the Lord, he like a good fight. If you go to a boxing expedition, a UFC match, a MMA match, jiu-jitsu match, whatever, you want to see a good fight. You want to get your money's worth, right? You don't want a one-sided fight. No, you want a good fight. You want top-level opponents. You want to get the bang for your buck. And that's how Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua is doing it. He's putting the spirit upon these nations to amass over there so he can watch a good fight. So he can watch a good fight. Let's go back to the book of Joel, chapter 2. And Joel 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Who are these Gentiles? The heathen. Prepare war. That's why you see all these different things in the news concerning these nations preparing for war. All right? Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. In other words, the money that these nations are used to pour into their agriculture, all right, they're pouring those resources into war, all right, into their development of weapons, into the military. Why? For the sake of war, all right. Beat your plowshares, that's a farming tool, into swords, and your pruning hooks, another farming tool, into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. Now you got these weaker nations, they now got the great equalizer now. All right? They have the great equalizer now, which is the ICBM missile. All right? And now, America can't just bully Iran anymore. Why? Because Iran has nuclear capabilities, or at least so they say. Right? And America, anytime you see America, saying that they want to, do good for a nation outside of America, there's always a nefarious plan. These elites, they love using America to push their wickedness. Right? If they say they're in there to give them democracy, oh no, he's in there for wickedness. If he says that he's in there to liberate the people, oh no. If he says that he's in there for because there's a dictator and he wants to give the people a regime change for the betterment of the people, no. If they have so-called weapons of mass destruction, no. Esau's in there to exploit that nation of their resources, whether it be their natural or their mineral resources, all right? And he wants to exploit them however way he can, all right? And squeeze every penny out of them. And as he does that, he wants to get rid of any righteousness that nation has going on. Like an example, the so-called Arabs, they're known for having their women covered up. Esau don't like that. That's why his woman comes over here and they get liberated. They get liberated. Now they got their so-called hijabs on to cover their hair. But then when you look, half their head is out. Or 25% of their hair is out. It defeats the purpose. Or they have on yoga pants, but then they have on a hijab. It's total confusion. And that's what Esau wants. That's why a few years ago you had a woman on top of a pole over there in the so-called Middle East twerking. On top of this place. But it's because of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, pursuant to Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right? So going back, Joel 3 and verse 11 now. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones, remember the angels, Isaiah the 13th chapter, to come down, O Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua. So Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua is going to come down, all right, and get down. And he's not going to be alone. He's going to come with his holy angels. Why? To get busy, to get down. It's going to be time for destruction. It's going to be time for him to get busy on these armies of the heathen. All right? Read 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, and Revelation, the 19th chapter, and Revelation 6 and 2. All right? Also Isaiah, the 32nd chapter. All right? All those different chapters go into, how the Heavenly Father, all right, Yahweh through his son Yahweh Shah is going to get down. All right? I think I said Isaiah 32. Not Isaiah 32, but Isaiah 34. All right? It speaks about how Yahweh Shah is going to get busy. He don't get down. Okay? All right? Because they're going to leave off of the battle that they have with one another. And when they see Yahweh Shai come back, and they're going to try to fight against the Lord, and they're going to get blasted out the sky. That's what's meant by Revelation 12 and 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon, and he fought in his angels, roughly paraphrasing. That's all a dark saying. Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is going to come with the holy angels, and he's going to fight the armies of Esau and these other nations. They're going to have their spacecraft, their advanced, aircrafts, and all that shit is going to get blasted out the sky by the lasers of Yahweh Shai. All right? So that's what it goes into. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now, we look up this word, Jehoshaphat. That word there is in the Hebrew, Yahweh Shaphat. Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, meaning he is, he exists, he is to be. And Shaphat meaning judgment. So you put it together, it means Yahweh's judgment. All right? And why is it called that? Why is it called Yahweh Shaphat? It says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. You see, so that's where the Heavenly Father is going to bring the judgment upon the heathen. All right? And that goes to show you also, all right, that, the Heavenly Father ain't here to save all these heathen. He ain't going to save not one, Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. 14. Multitudes in the valley of decision. That's the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. All right. For the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. What does it mean by multitudes in the valley of decision? This is going into that great battle, all right? This third world war, all right? Of the which Yahweh Shai himself is going to come down and get busy. He's going to come down and get busy on these heathen, all right? So this is what's getting ready to happen. That's why you see all these tensions brewing in the Middle East. That's why you see all this conflict going on over there. That's why you constantly see, America talking about sending troops over there and whatnot, because this is what everything is leading up to. All right? The Third World War, of the which Yahweh Shai is going to come down and he's going to get busy. Our praises, honors, and glories be to Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, Baal Shem Raquadash, and honors to my apostles and elders. Peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.